Yeah, you Cassiola. You are a joke.
What I wanted to bring up
Dave.
Yeah, it is. He's moving on, Elizabeth. It's a joke. It's a joke. He's a joke.
Chris is going to look into it for us and give us the legal advice.
It's too late July 6th. It's too late, Andy. Don't start with Chris.
How are you telling me to make a decision tonight without legal advice? Think about it.
You don't need legal advice for in-house. We ain't talking about union. We're talking about in-house starts July 1st. Non-union. I worked in the union for 20 years, Andy. I know the rules.
So how do we possibly make the decision before the renewal period if the next meeting's...
You don't, you should have brought it up a month ago. You're a month too late.
No, it don't matter. They can do it for in-house. This has nothing to do with union. When union comes up, union come up, and then you mess with the union.
Now we're going to check into it until
Now
July 7th.
you're going to check into July 7th and in-house flux out again.
I was the one.
That's where we're at, Elizabeth, if you don't vote
to discuss the PA Turnpike here.
Yeah, we're on the PA Turnpike.
When it first went about 5-6 years ago, when I first became supervisor, I was asking for meetings with the Pennsylvania Turnpike. There's some final design on this road that you're coming through. Well, over the last 5 years, they've said, no, don't worry about it because there hasn't been funding for it. Last year when they did the transportation bill that they did, all of a sudden they've come up with funding for it. And the thing is, I'm in the Laurel Hill Rising Road area. I did see the Turnpike, some of their plans where they have a plan for coming down on the Rising Road, not far down from Tomahawk Lane, and they want to put a connector down on the Rising Road that'll basically be an on-off ramp and put a lot more traffic through the underpass right by Route 50, where in the last year we've had 3 trucks have already hit that. That's something that we need to look at before they do this final design, is the changes that could be made there. I can see us having more headaches with that. The last truck that hit it so hard it knocked the rails out of alignment on the tracks up above, which could be a disaster, which we don't need in the township. The third thing that I saw in their plan for final design, and concerned me too, was out by Morgan Baker and Morganza. They're going to widen Morganza Road, right and they have plans right in front of the historical Simpson home, that they want to put a large roundabout out there. My point is, when I looked at the plans, I thought, if you widen Morganza Road, just put a stop signs there or a red light. This roundabout, we already have one in Town Center, up by Town Center up there by the Milan building, and that's a single lane roundabout. This would be a double lane, it'd be twice as big. And I think it'd be a big impact on it. My whole point is, I think the Turnpike needs to finally come to us and have a public meeting. Let everybody see what they want to do on final design. Let the public have input. And there could be other sections that need tweaked that I don't know about, but you might live by it and you might say this needs to be addressed or whatever. So my whole point tonight is I would like to see the board say, let's send a letter to Turnpike asking for a public meeting. They just did this in September of 2014, just last year, over in South Fayette, and had a public meeting for them when they were talking about closing down the Miller's Run, the old Miller's Run Road. I think we deserve the same courtesy in Cecil Township to have a public meeting also. Let our residents ask their questions, get them answered, so that we can move forward with this in a proper way that won't impact the residents. One of the things I did learn about this...
We can order the Turnpike Commission. They'll come when they're ready. Well, if you think we can do it, I don't think we can do it.
It's just suggesting that we ask
for a public meeting.
I think that when the Turnpike Commission is ready, they'll be there. You've already had a private meeting, Andy.
And I wish they would, and I complained about that too, Elizabeth, because I said all the supervisors should have been invited to that. And who was invited to it, Dawn?
I wasn't.
Chairman and yourself.
And there should have been, and all 3 of the other supervisors, Elizabeth, DJ, and Cindy should have been invited too. And I thought that was wrong.
Well, but you went to the meeting.
But the problem here is you're all for public input unless it's something that needs to be.
And they'll come when they're ready.
And what happens if it's too late?
I don't think it can be too late.
What I think everybody needs to know about this, that we did learn at that meeting too, is the fact when they did this transportation bill, they did come into more money. And they're moving forward very quickly right now. They want to have all property acquisitions done by like September 2016, and then they're going to put it out to bid, and they want the Turnpike actually completed by 2019 so it can be open, this section of it. So they're getting real close to it now. We need to ask them for the public meeting is all. and let the residents ask the questions. I mean, I have people asking me questions, I can't answer them. The Turnpike people need to answer them. That's all.
We can form a motion as well.
I'll make that motion that we ask the PA Turnpike to hold a public meeting in Cecil Township.
Second.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Don't you do that?
Just for clarification, Andy, because they'll ask, okay, what do you want to discuss? It'll be the 3 items you enumerated.
Actually, I'd like the whole section from one end to the other. They over in South Fayette, when I was there, they had a huge table and they put out the maps out there and showed everybody. They had 3 or 4 representatives there answering questions. And that's exactly what we need too. Just have people there that can answer any questions that a resident has on any of the sections of it. If they want to divide the whole Cecil Township into 3 pieces or 2 pieces, fine, but so I want the whole township.
A plans display for the entire segment that affects
Exactly.
Cecil Township.
Out by the National Cemetery, there's a lot of work going on out there. I'm sure there's going to be people wanting to look at that and ask questions too. And then I know that the commissioners in South Fayette did make recommendations after their citizens' input, and that's what kept Miller's Run Road open. So there could be some things about the cul-de-sac or maybe that underpass that are concerned people that we might have to ask for recommendations to the Turnpike so that it'll make the road safe for everybody.
I have 4 or 5 issues.
There's still another drafting the policy.
Oh.